Tom Aspinall has just released shocking new training footage ahead of his next UFC fight, and fans can't stop talking about it. Did I end this exclusive look inside his fight camp? Aspinall appears in incredible shape, working on speed, power, and precision. Intensity has convinced many that Ciryl Gane could be facing the biggest challenge of his UFC career. This is a heavyweight showdown that fight fans around the world don't want to miss.
When Tom Aspinall got matched up against Ciryl Gane, he had a plan to get his revenge, because although he pretended to pay his respect backstage, he later made a video exposing Ciryl ducking him.
Ciryl Gane was in attendance, won the fight. Matchmakers came to me and they said, "Do you want to fight Ciryl?" I said, "Absolutely." A day later, I got the phone call, Ciryl Gane doesn't want to fight me.
Tom then went ahead and won another fight in the first round, but when he was in the front row of Cyryl's fight, Ciryl got asked about fighting him next, but turned it down in the octagon.
I know a lot of people talk about Aspinall, but this doesn't make sense for me.
Then, UFC came to London, and Tom was supposed to fight Ciryl, but he was busy filming his Netflix series that day, so he ended up fighting Curtis and won in the first round. And now, a year later, they've been matched up again.
This is the fourth time they've matched up together.
Who do you think is going to win this fight?
He's dismissed me on multiple occasions, and I'm not the first guy that he's dismissed. The reason that I got the Pavlovich fight was because Ciryl didn't want it. He then ducked Curtis Blades. I just don't like the way he does stuff professionally, because that's the opposite to what I do. I'm here to prove I'm the best, not duck out of fights with people.
We finally got Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Chael, we've been screaming about this Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane for a long time. UFC 321, Tom minus 325, Gane plus 260. We finally got the fight, but the world doesn't seem to believe, Chael, that it's a close fight. And I don't really agree with that line. I think this fight is much closer. Tom Aspinall minus 325, Ciryl Gane plus 265.
This is the battle for UFC heavyweight supremacy. Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane in Abu Dhabi this October has the entire MMA world buzzing. Fans are debating. Backhand index pointing right, will Aspinall's slick boxing, lightning fast footwork, and dominant grappling be too much? Backhand index pointing right, or will Gane's precision striking, patience, and elite cage IQ frustrate Tom over 5 rounds? When you watch Aspinall's style, it's easy to see why people are so high on him. For a heavyweight, his speed is unreal. He moves like a middleweight, darting in and out, mixing crisp boxing with dangerous trips and takedowns.
Yeah. You want to talk about a guy who's fast, one of the fastest heavyweights. He might be the fate in the history of the sport. I don't think anybody moves like that guy does. He beat everybody else's ass too. All the other heavyweights, ragdoll dudes way bigger than him. He's just a freak, and he is again the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. I mean, he knocked out Sergey, who's the scariest striker in all of MMA, and he knocked him out in the first round. And the way he did it was just picture perfect. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem. At a 250 plus pound frame, his movement's extraordinary. And that's something you have to deal with. Like, that is a crazy ability. Like, his ability to move, like the way he moves, is so much different than everybody else in the sport. He moves like a 175 pounder. He doesn't move like a 250 pound guy. Look how quickly he closes the distance, man. His hand speed and full range of skills. Incredible stand up, knocks guys out with one punch, black belt in jiu-jitsu, really good wrestler. His everything, and he's young.
So what's your prediction if it happens?
It's hard to bet against John. It's hard to bet against John, but John's not a real heavyweight. Yeah. John could make light heavyweight 100%. He weighs 230 right now, maybe a little less than 230. There's no doubt in my mind that if John just changed his diet and went back, he hasn't put that much mass on.
Michael Bisping, before Tom Aspinall fought Sergey Pavlovich, he said he gonna beat John Jones. He moved like Muhammad Ali. I said, Mike, this has to be a gimmick. He goes, Daniel, this fight is gonna last 2 minutes between him and Sergey. I said, bro, Sergey's knocked out 8 dudes in a row. Tom goes and knocks him out. Tom leaves to the back. Bisping's with him like he's part of the camp.
Just say you'll fight him. He refuses to say still that he'll fight Tom Aspinall, because he was walking through an airport and they were saying, so will you fight Tom Aspinall? And he's like, I'll fight whoever the champion is. Well, that's Tom Aspinall. I said, yeah, but the fight's not going to happen for a year. So we'll see who the champion is at that time.
On the ground, Aspinall is lethal. His top control is suffocating. His submissions are lightning fast, and his ability to transition makes him unique in the division. Many believe that once Tom gets the fight to the canvas, it's only a matter of time before he finds a finish. But then there's Ciryl Gane. The Frenchman has long been called one of the smoothest strikers in heavyweight history. His jab, his kicks, his ability to control distance. It's all world-class that if Gane can keep the fight standing and force Aspinall into a striking battle, the momentum flips instantly.
Aspinall versus Gane is a massive transitional fight for the heavyweight division. What happens after it? I liked the idea of Alex versus Tom right now. You want to know what another interesting fight is? Alex versus Ciryl. Alex is not going to beat Uncle Ida, but we got Alex to light heavyweight in the first place by getting him beat. I believe Alex is in that spot right now. I'm bringing all of this to your attention because right now there's one thing for Jon Jones to do, and that is Tom Aspinall. Regardless of what happens between Ciryl and Tom, if Alex were to move up and beat them, you've now created an opportunity for Alex versus Jon, and that does work. Jon versus Tom is the fight, but Alex versus Jon is the next fight.
Did you see the Derek Lewis-Ciryl Gane fight? Ciryl Gane beat the shit out of him. Ciryl Gane, who's 6'5", 247 pounds, moves like a 170 pounder. He's bouncing like Wonder Boy. Completely changed the standard of heavyweight striking.
Can Ciryl Gane beat Tom Aspinall?
Imagine if Ciryl Gane beats Tom Aspinall. So it was announced that Tom's first title defense as the undisputed champion will be against former interim champ Ciryl Gane. And although me and many others are siding with Tom, we also can't forget that this is the heavyweight division and one shot could change it all. So imagine after everything that happened at heavyweight, Ciryl Gane captures the undisputed belt. But more importantly, how would that affect Jon Jones' legacy? Because you know that if Ciryl beats Tom, Jon will use MMA math to show everyone why he never had to fight Tom since he defeated Ciryl so easily. Even if Tom wins but has a tough time in doing it, Jon will still be at it. Personally, I don't think this changes the fact that Jon was ducking Tom as he saw him as a dangerous matchup. But what do you think?
Ciryl Gane is a fantastic striker. I mean, he's one of the most beautiful strikers in the heavyweight division. He does wild stuff. You ever see how he throws that front kick from a side stance? And he throws it like a twisting kick? He stands like southpaw, right? And he bobs around like this. And he's totally sideways. And he twists his foot out. Twists his foot out like a twisting kick. He did a lot of them against Tai Tuivasa. He's so fast, man. He just does this weird thing where he stands sideways. And instead of the front kick going like this, like straight out, the front kick goes like this. So
I know. Okay, I see what you're
twisting
saying.
it.
Yeah.
So his knee when he lands is almost like sideways. It's just so unusual for a heavyweight, that kind of movement. But he'll show it totally sideways.
It's a little trick.
Almost like a crescent kick or something like that.
It is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the pride of Wigan, the one and only Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. Na. Tommy Aspinall. Tommy defending his undisputed gold, technically for the very first time against the pride of France, the French prince himself, Bon Gamin himself, the one and only Ciryl Gane. These two have been going back and forth for the better part of 2, maybe 3 years. Well, this was the fight that we all thought was going to happen in Tom's official first title defense, and so it is in fact going to happen. Tom wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. That was the sense that we got when he became undisputed champion. He didn't want to wait for New York. Let's be honest, the tax is a little better over there in Abu Dhabi compared to New York for an Englishman, for anyone, if we're being 100% honest. And so he wanted to be active. He wanted to fight in October. He wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. It's closer to home, and so they oblige. And you'll recall a few weeks ago I said it's looking like Magomed and Alex, October 4th. It's looking like Tom versus Ciryl, October 25th. And it's looking like JDM versus Islam in New York. That would be the next pay-per-view. Now, that hasn't been officially announced. That hasn't been signed, sealed, and delivered. But at this point, I would be surprised, considering how the chips just fell earlier today. I would be surprised if it doesn't.
Gane's composure, his ability to make opponents swing at air could give him the edge, but the stigma still follows him. His quick loss to Jon Jones exposed his grappling, instantly taken down and submitted. Critics argue his takedown defense is questionable, and against someone like Aspinall, that could be fatal.
Ciryl, we've been supposed to fight each other a couple of times before.
Similar age as well. You were kind of both coming through, right? Well, he's a tiny bit older than you, isn't he?
I think he's a little bit older, and he has a couple more, or at least he started his career in the UFC a little bit earlier than I did. I was trying to fight him because he was like kind of just a little bit above me all the time. Fight never materialised. He turned me down a couple of times, to be honest.
That's already a sick fight card. Obviously, with Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, Jalton Almeida and Volkov being the co-main event, if they are, just being on the fight card, they're going to be a backup fighter if anything happens to the main event. What's your thoughts on Volkov versus Gane? Sorry, Aspinall versus Gane.
I mean, I think it's the next best thing that we could get right now with John Jones not being able to do it and stepping away. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what Tom's plan is going to be, because I think on the feet, they're pretty evenly matched. I think it could be fun on the feet, but I think there's definitely a huge advantage for Aspinall when it comes to the wrestling and the grappling. And I think he'd be silly to not at least attempt to make it a bit of a grappling match and try to get the ground and pound, take him down. And we'll see. If he can defend takedowns, it could be a lot of fun. But if not, I think Tom could make some quick work. But there's a lot of pressure on Tom, man. We were talking about it on the pre-show this weekend that, you didn't get the Jones fight. You waited all this time, and now you've got to fight somebody else. And it's always tough because you want to win that one to really prove to everybody that, yeah, you are that guy. You are the great. You are the best. You're the reason John didn't want to take this fight, blah, blah, blah. If you go and lose that one, you just...
Yeah. Well, we haven't had guests on for a little bit because I've just been all over the place and very, very busy and all the rest of it. So I'll reach out to Tom and see if we can get him on next week, and we'll start getting some guests on again. Tom isn't the type of guy that...
At the same time, Gane's fans point to his fight IQ and striking dominance that he dismantled Derek Lewis. He neutralized Tai Tuivasa, and many believe he has the tools to expose Aspinall's defense on the feet.
Saying that he wanted to fight Ciryl multiple occasions. He flew out to Paris. Oh, yeah, go on, press play here.
Finally, we're back after over a year hiatus. Me and Ciryl finally signed on the dotted line. This is the 4th time we've been matched up together. He turned down the fight early on before we were both in the rankings. After that, he fought Spivak. I said in a post-fight interview after I beat Tabora,
I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to be sat front row for Ciryl Gane against Sergey Spivak. I'm going to beat the winner, and then I'm going to beat John Jones.
I went to Paris. Ciryl, unfortunately, turned down the fight on a second occasion. Third occasion, fought Curtis Blades. The original opponent was Ciryl Gane. Unfortunately, Ciryl Gane was busy that day. Ciryl was filming his Netflix series. Can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure you can check it out now on Netflix. And now we are matched up for the 25th of October, Abu Dhabi. Me and Ciryl. The 4th attempt is here, and this is Cyryl's 3rd title shot. So we are going to try and get rid of Ciryl Gane from the title picture for good.
3 title fights, obviously, and I forgot about that. Fair play to Tom. Ciryl didn't want to fight him, but now he's the champ. He wants to fight him, so you can understand a little bit of shit talk there in Tom's nice, kind of respectful fashion without, lowering himself and losing his temper and just using facts to talk shit realistically. And he was in Paris, by the way, because I met up with him and his dad. But he fought Ngannou for the belt. Then he fought Jones for the belt. And now he's fighting Tom for the belt. He's certainly getting the opportunities.
Yeah, and Tom's right. I mean, if Ciryl goes out there and loses to Tom this time around, it's tough, as we know, to go and get that 4th title shot after something like this when you've dropped them like that. It's definitely a must-win situation if he wants to be the champion. Now, it's not a must-win situation in terms of his career. He's not going anywhere as long as he wants to fight. But if you want to be champ, man, especially with a guy like Tom, where you don't beat him now, there's probably not a good chance that you're going to be getting back to that one anytime soon.
Well, in terms of the matchup, they're both big men, similar sizes. They're both athletic, very athletic. They're fast, the pair of them. They're both very coordinated. I think if I had to give an advantage to Ciryl, it'd be in the, maybe in the movement. Maybe he's a little slicker on the feet, but he's not as powerful as Tom. And Tom's certainly slick as we know. But the wrestling, the grappling side of things, it's not even a conversation.
Makes this matchup so captivating is that
What makes this matchup so captivating is that both men are specialists in completely different areas. Both are young in their UFC careers. Aspinall wants to prove he's the future, the man Jon Jones has avoided, the fighter who can dominate wherever the fight goes. Gane wants to prove he's not just a striker with weak grappling, but a complete heavyweight who can still capture UFC gold.
Tom should be able to take him down if he chooses to. So if Ciryl Gane isn't training in Dagestan for 2-3 months, years, days, weeks,
or
whatever,
Arkansas.
Or Arkansas, brother.
Yeah, he's
if
just
he
go down there with Brass.
Mitchell, get up there with Brass. If he's not just solely working on his grappling, then he's a fool. Yeah. And by the way, Tom's probably got bigger power. Tom might just knock him out on his feet as well. And I'm not saying that Ciryl can't be a force and Ciryl can't compete and Ciryl can't surprise us all, because he can. And Tom knows that. That's why he'll train accordingly. But the grappling is a big question mark.
Big question mark. And I think if we're talking about their styles too, I think the one thing that you can give Ciryl, other than maybe his unorthodox movement, the way he switches stances quite a bit, he kicks more. He uses a bit more tools, whereas Tom can kick. He can do it all, no doubt about it. He can knee and all of that. But I think that primarily the hands are where Tom really showcases himself and shines, whereas Ciryl, he can be a little tricky with kicks. He uses a lot of front kicks. He'll use a side kick. He'll attack like that lead knee and things like that. But again, those are also, if you do too much of that, those are opportunities for Aspinall to be able to get a hold of you and get you to the ground too. But I do think Tom's not going to be afraid to mix it up on the feet. I think he'll be smart about how he approaches the wrestling in that. I don't think he'll rush to it in any means. I think he's going to try to use his speed, use that boxing, try to hurt him, see if he can get him out of there with his hands first. And then I think if opportunity presents himself, he'll get a hold of the wrestling and try to go that route.
Well, he wasn't afraid to stand and trade with Sergey Pavlovich, you know what I mean, who was knocking everybody out at the time. So
Tom Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. What's the first step for him?
You give him the one contender, Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is somebody that's a big heavyweight, that's very agile. I don't think Tom Aspinall gets rid of him right away like he has with other people. And I think that'll be a big indication if Jon Jones wants to come back and reclaim that bout once again.
I think you're absolutely right. Fight that makes sense. Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Let's make that happen. Ciryl Gane is, people forget how fantastic he is. A guy that can kind of float around the octagon, touch you, kick you, hit you with elbow. He's just a complete game. But man, Tom's movement, his boxing, speed, and his power, it's very, very difficult to doubt this man anymore.
Do you think they're going to do Gane and Aspinall next? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I heard they're doing I don't know if I heard this from you or my homie Archie, that they're doing a card in France in August.
That is happening. I think the card in
but Paris. That would be weird if I'm Tom. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to France to defend my belt. But maybe he does, because Tom seems like he just wants to fight. So I get that.
Yeah. Well, it's also shorter for Tom too, right? If he is fighting in Paris, right, as opposed to him fighting in the States. So maybe there's some incentive there. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I agree with you. He should be fighting in the.
I think Ciryl Gane will beat Aspinall.
Serious?
Yeah, I think he'll do it. Firstly, I think Aspinall will go into the fight emotional. I think he'll be irritated by the fact that it's been a year out.
He doesn't see
I think though he's gonna look at Gane and think, all right, Jones beat you in a round. I'm gonna do worse to you. And I think he's not gonna take Gane as seriously as you should have. And listen, but we don't know what Aspinall is like in that third, that fourth, that fifth. If you can survive that first and second, Aspinall's the favorite. But Gane is not a scrub on the feet. Gane's still technically kickboxing range. He's the better striker. Aspinall packs a punch. He's the heavier puncher. He's got the heavier hands. Boxing wise, he's probably a better boxer as well.
The speed, bro.
But Gane is quick, bro.
Yeah.
Gane is not slow. And Gane's kicks and his range and his striking defense is still elite. But
when
you can't land clean on Gane. You can't land clean on Gane.
Also landed clean on Gane.
That was.
The training footage only adds fuel to the fire. Fans watching Aspinall move so fast, strike so sharp, and grapple with such intensity are convinced he's levels above the rest. Some say Gane has no chance once Tom gets hold of him. Others argue training footage means nothing. Gane has been under the bright lights before. He knows how to handle pressure. And at the end of the day, this fight is about more than two heavyweights. Jon Jones is sidelined. Francis Ngannou is gone. Dana White is left with a heavyweight division full of politics and doubt. Aspinall versus Gane is the fight that could bring clarity or create even more chaos.
He didn't put up any resistance in that fight, lost it really easily. You can't then come back and beat the number 8 or 9 guy and then go straight back to fight John Jones. That's just not how it works, man. You can't be like, oh yeah, I deserve a title shot now. No, you don't. You've had 2 goals, you lost them both.
It's almost an unfair comparison, right? When you talk about pressure versus pressure, everybody's under tremendous pressure. But I guess when you kind of look at it from not just pressure, but potential legacy and career and what's on the line, I think it's hard to not go with Tom Aspinall because the heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy, the heavyweight division loses a lot of respect. Even if Tom goes out there and it's a close fight or he gets dropped and then has to come back or something, like, the heavyweight division has so little respect right now, probably deservedly so, I think. Even with Gane getting his 3rd title shot in a couple years, like, Tom has to show that he is the heavyweight division. He has to prove that to the world. Like, I am, the heavyweight division's not just shit, but like, I'm so good that the heavyweight division is shit, right? This is kind of his thing that he has to go out there and prove to the world. If he goes out there and loses to Gane, the division already is not respected. That brings Tom down significantly, I think, right? And of course, the potential John Jones fight, which is whatever, who knows, right? Like, how he beats Gane, assuming he does, may play a factor too. Like, if it turns out to be a close fight, again, John's going to be on his phone with Twitter open watching this fight, like, just waiting for Tom to fuck up and get dropped, get leg kicked and limping a little bit, or, you know what I mean?
The question now is straightforward. Will Tom Aspinall's intense training lead to complete domination inside the cage? Or will Ciryl Gane rise to the moment, silence the critics, and prove that his striking skill is enough to overcome one of the UFC's most dangerous heavyweights?